Hold your breath, Stories Fear fans, because you're about to witness a heart-pounding drama unfold on the wild savannah. A pride of lions was advancing from afar to surround a stray elephant calf. The pride of lions moved slowly, forming an encompassing crescent around the young elephant calf, cutting off any path to escape. The elephant calf had nowhere left to run and was preparing to face a cruel, inevitable fate. 6 male lions, the pinnacle of power, stood shoulder to shoulder, their golden eyes fixed on the tiny creature. The elephant calf tumbled onto its back in a final, desperate cry of pure terror. Don't look away, Stories Fear viewers, because the true nature of courage is about to be revealed. To understand the true weight of this moment, we must first look at the incredible odds stacked against this little creature. A story we'll unpack right after this quick framework. The dramatic scene unfolded on the sweeping green canvas of the savannah, beneath the watchful eyes of scattered acacia trees. The 6 majestic lions stood tall, not in a frantic hunting frenzy, but in a calculated display of dominance. For a seasoned observer, this was a power play. A rare exhibition of 6 dominant male lions, often called a coalition, pooling their power, usually reserved for seizing territory or asserting authority over a rival pride of lions. The fact presenter in us at Stories Fear knows that lions will only risk a concerted effort like this against a potentially dangerous prey if the reward outweighs the injury risk. A lone elephant calf offers a substantial reward with minimal defense, making it the perfect target for a show of unified force. A terrifying display of predator patience. From a ridge kilometers away, Ranger Gelani watched the unfolding tragedy through the lens of his binoculars. He was an experienced conservationist, a man who had seen the raw, uncompromising heart of the wild countless times. Yet, this sight sent a shiver of dread down his spine. He knew the unwritten rule. Interference from a human could escalate the situation, turning a calculated siege into a sudden, violent attack. His hands gripped the metal frame, a tangible expression of his internal struggle. He was forced into the role of a silent spectator, wrestling with the ethical weight of intervention versus non-intervention. The scene pressed down on him with a chilling intensity. Helplessness. The agonizing weight of the elephant calf. Fear. The looming presence of the dominant lions. Silence. The unnatural quietude of the savannah, anticipating the strike. This paralysis of action was the hardest part of his duty. Take a moment and share your thoughts in the comments below, Stories Fear community. What would you do if you were in Gelani's place? Gelani knew that if rescue was to come, it had to be a force of nature itself. And as he watched through his binoculars, the unexpected shadow of hope began to appear on the horizon, moving with a silent, determined grace. Wait until you see what happens next, because this twist will leave you speechless. The shadow Gelani spotted resolved into a distant dust cloud, marking the determined progress of a large herd of elephants. This was not the elephant calf's immediate family, but the collective response of a species bound by deep, intrinsic familial ties. The desperate, high-pitched trumpet of the isolated elephant calf, a sound that carries both vast distance and emotional urgency, had reached the ears of the matriarch leading the herd of elephants. She was old, wise, and bore the scars of 1,000 savannah battles. The dilemma she faced was one of the natural world's greatest moral quandaries. The matriarch's primary, sacred duty was the absolute safety and preservation of her own herd of elephants, especially the young. Yet, the distress call of an orphan elephant calf, regardless of lineage, triggers a profound protective instinct, hardwired into the very soul of elephant society. We see the matriarch pause, her massive ears fanning out, processing the danger. Every instinct screamed caution, to change course and avoid the inevitable confrontation with the deadly 6 lions. But the distant echo of a baby's cry weighed heavier than the fear of the most formidable predator. She made a choice that defined her leadership, turning the herd of elephants towards the danger, committing them to an unknown conflict. The decision was final, firm, and filled with risk. Opinionate her, Storysphere fans. This is a moment that transcends mere instinct. It is a display of radical compassion. It proves that the instinct to protect is not confined by bloodline, offering a profound statement on the value of every life in the ecosystem. Will the matriarch risk the safety of her entire herd of elephants for one little elephant calf? The answer will redefine everything you thought you knew about African wildlife, and is coming up in the very next section. If you believe in the power of empathy, hit that like button to send a little love to the herd of elephants, and stay with Storysphere. The lions, sensing the changing wind and the distant rumble, shifted their stance. The moment of silent confrontation was over. The tipping point was here, and it would be settled by a force of nature or a defiant act of the smallest creature. As the powerful advance of the matriarch and the herd of elephants closed the gap, the 6 lions finally broke their statuesque, menacing formation. The strategic advantage of a surprise, calculated strike was rapidly dissolving. Their attention was divided, half still focused on the vulnerable elephant calf, and the others glancing nervously at the thundering, incoming force. This brief lapse, this vital moment of cognitive clutter in the lions' minds, was all the opportunity the elephant calf needed. Driven by a surge of pure, desperate adrenaline, the little elephant calf accomplished the impossible. It stopped crying, leveraged its small, unsteady legs, and scrambled back upright. It faced the nearest, largest lion, still towering over it. And instead of freezing or fleeing, the elephant calf did the only thing it could. It produced a tiny, squeaky, but undeniably defiant trumpet. It was a pathetic sound compared to the war cry of the oncoming matriarch. Yet, it was a declaration of war. Fact presenter at Storysphere reminds you, this act, born out of utter desperation, is a crucial psychological shift. The prey, in that final moment, chose defiance over surrender. This unexpected, tiny act of aggression introduces a variable of confusion into the predator's pre-calculated equation, disrupting their momentum and focus. The lions are programmed for the expected flight or surrender, not a sudden, tiny counter-challenge. This is the universal truth of courage. It is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Here, the sheer, unadulterated will to live, channeled through the smallest voice, briefly held the attention of the 6 kings of the savannah. The elephant calf's defiance was a beacon, a signal to the matriarch that her rescue was not in vain. The sound of the matriarch's heavy feet striking the ground grew louder, the earth itself confirming her commitment. The lions looked at the elephant calf, then at the charging matriarch, and then at each other. What happened in the next 30 seconds changed everything, and Storysphere is about to show you why, as the rules of the savannah were momentarily suspended. Don't click away. The climax of this incredible story is next. What happened next defied all logic, all instinct, and all the rules of the savannah. It was a victory not of tusks, but of respect, a testament to the fact that not all conflicts must end in bloodshed. The final confrontation arrived, not with a roar and a bloody strike, but with a silent understanding. The matriarch charged the final few hundred meters with a full head of steam, her tusks lowered, a vision of pure, relentless, protective fury. Yet, just as the collision seemed imminent, the 6 lions made their move. They did not scatter in panic. Instead, they turned. Simultaneously, and with surprising dignity, maintaining their formation even in retreat, the pride of lions walked away, their tails low, but their heads held high. Recognizing that the risk to their collective dominance and physical well-being was no longer worth the temporary prize of the elephant calf. It was a calculated, peaceful surrender to the greater force. A statement that tactical withdrawal is sometimes the highest form of power. The great matriarch halted, dust billowing around her massive legs, a triumphant sentinel guarding the small figure. She lowered her trunk, gently encircling the trembling elephant calf, offering a soft, low rumble of acceptance. The elephant calf instantly leaned into her, the nightmare replaced by the warmth of a new protector. Ranger Gelani, finally exhaling the breath he had held for what felt like an eternity, dropped his binoculars, a tear tracing a clean path through the dust on his cheek. This story is not merely about a rescue. It is a powerful statement on the nature of solution. The resolution was found not in violent victory, but in a delicate balance of respect, courage, and a powerful show of solidarity. The lions chose self-preservation, and the matriarch chose compassion. In life, there is profound wisdom in knowing when to fight and when to walk away. The ultimate lesson here is the unyielding connection of a natural world. You're never truly alone if a matriarch, or someone like her, hears your cry. If this incredible story of empathy and tactical wisdom in the wild moved you, please subscribe to Storysphere for more powerful narratives from the heart of the savannah.